Welcome back to the Walleye Now Deep Dive, brought to you by FishUSA. Today we're going to go into one of those summer presentations that catches an unbelievable amount of fish, and it's been incredibly effective over the last several seasons. Stay tuned, we'll show you one of my absolute favorites to get it done this time of year. You got one, huh?
Yep.
Nice. Well, that was what, second cast? But, oh, I just had fishing line. There we go. On the Hyper-Rattle.
I don't know if this is a walleye.
Just keep them coming. It's probably a nice walleye. And this is one of the absolute fastest ways that you can catch walleyes in this summer time frame when they get on some of this isolated deep water structure. And hopefully we got the right fish on here, huh?
Hopefully.
And that was like immediate.
Might be a nice one.
And that's one of the reasons this presentation has just gotten so wildly, oh yeah, nice walleye. So wildly productive over the last couple seasons. There we go, good job. Right off the bat, give me some. Well, there we go. You guys see how effective that is. Took essentially no time using it. And we'll let Shelby show you this fish here, and we'll kind of take the deep dive into this presentation and why it's so effective. Look at that beautiful summertime walleye right there on the glide baits, and the ACME Hyper-Rattle is one that's just been catching fish for us for so long. And there's just another perfect example of why that bait's so effective right there. All right, guys, so let's take the deep dive on the Hyper-Rattle. Now, this bait comes in 3 different sizes. No way.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Well, Shelby is just literally every single cast she's catching one right now. Oh, here, let's move this around so the guys can see you catch one again. Did he smoke it on the way down?
On the way down, yeah. I was not expecting that.
Well, it's just such a speed-oriented bait. Kind of slide that back down to the floor here and walk them around. It's such a speed-oriented bait that a lot of times these fish will just smash it right on as it's falling, kind of. And that's exactly what that one did, I'm assuming, huh?
Yep.
Pretty nice sized fish too, it's looking like. But this bait, obviously, it's all about the speed and that aggressive snap in the middle of summer like this. And it really gets good a lot of times in the middle of summer when you see a lot of these fish kind of sliding out from that 10, 12 foot range out to maybe, let's say, that 15 to 25 to 30 foot range. And when they get on some of this deeper structure, like we're just sitting on a little rock bar right now that tops out at about 22, you know, those fish kind of isolate up and they'll start looking something like this on your graph. So a lot of times, oh man, I just got a terrible glare. It's a really nice walleye though, Shelby. Really nice walleye. And when they get out here on some of these spots, you throw a speed bait at them like this and it's so fast and gets in front of them so quickly. You give it those quick boom boom snaps, and a lot of times they just absolutely hammer the bait. And I want to show you guys this. You know, I mean, Shelby just absolutely smoked one while I was just about to start talking about how you fish it. That's how you know they want it right there, when they're eating a bait like that. Well, good work, look at that.
Yep.
2 in 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm excited.
Can't complain when walleyes look like that and they're choking Hyper-Rattles.
Yep.
Let's get them back in the water real quick. See you later, buddy. Back for more. All right, well, I physically told Shelby that she has to stop fishing her for a little bit so we could take the deep dive on the ACME Hyper-Rattle. I'm sorry, Shelby. But, so this bait, obviously, it comes in 3 different sizes, a bunch of different colors. You can have success on the small size, you can have success on the big size. Most of the time in the summer months, I like the mid size. And if I'm definitely fishing a little bit deeper water and there's kind of a potential for big fish, I like going to the big one. We're fishing the mid-size today. Now, the bait obviously is very heavy. It's a solid piece of lead, and a lot of these versions are gonna weigh close to an ounce. And I like rigging these up on mono. I prefer to generally do it on mono. It seems to hold fish a little bit better, and it kind of seems to spring the bait a little bit more. Now, there's 2 ways you can fish this. The number one, like we're doing right now, you can kind of find some fish and pitch out to them. Now, the key to working this bait is letting it fall very fast. Slack line all the way down. Okay, it's on bottom. I'm gonna take the rod, I'm gonna crack it, and I'm gonna slack it out so it falls on a slack line. Add a couple pops in, let it fall on a slack line. Another pop, fall on a slack line. And this is a super effective way to kind of pitch around when you get in an area where there's just kind of a couple fish here, a couple fish there. And you can see how aggressive I'm working the bait. Oh, there was one popped it for a second there. But you can see how aggressively I'm working the bait. I'm not doing something that looks like a little jig stroke, like something like that. You want this bait fishing fast. It's a very much a reactionary bite. Let it hit bottom on a slack line, pop it again. And you kind of do this over and over and over on the way back to the boat. Now, the other way which we'll do this a lot of times when we're fishing just And I always call this like the seek and destroy type fishing, where you might be driving around with the big motor. The second you come over a glob of fish, you're dropping it straight down right in the prop wash, and you're kind of hanging over those fish. Now the same thing though. Once you hit bottom, big pop up, let it hit bottom. Big pop up, let it hit bottom. Big pop up, let it hit bottom. These fish have a tendency to bite this bait when it's on the bottom a lot of times. So a lot of times you'll do kind of a snap up, you'll let it hit bottom again, and you'll go to yank up again, and it'll just be like you're snagged for a second. That's actually a fish grabbing the bait right off the bottom. And a lot of times you'll see this bait be very effective on days where the fish are not really biting. And that, you know, if you're used to a slip bobber, pulling a slow spinner rig by them or something like that, something that's just kind of very slow and, you know, natural moving. A lot of days when these fish get real negative, you put something like this in their face, hit bottom, snap it up. That bait's just poof, shooting out to the side, hitting bottom, and the fish are all over it because it's that big time reactionary jump. This style of fishing has been wildly kind of popular over the last 4 or 5 years, and this is how we've been doing it and catching an absolute pile of summertime walleyes on baits like this, the ACME Hyper-Rattle, both in that mid-size and kind of the biggest size. I would say my 2 favorites. If you guys want to pick up any of these ACME Hyper-Rattles or any other great walleye fishing products, get online at FishUSA.com. And for hundreds of other highly informational walleye fishing videos, whether that's location breakdowns or specific presentations that are working right now, get on the Walleye Now app, available on Google Play and the App Store.